All right, Navajo code talkers. The Navajo code talkers were secret agents. They helped the U.S. Marines fight in World War II. They were not soldiers. They did not have weapons. Instead, they used their native tongue. The Navajo language became really important. It helped create an unbreakable code. How can language help a war? American Marines used radios and telephones to communicate. However, the enemy could listen in. They could hear important information. So the Marines needed a secret code. It had to be something the enemy could not understand. The military thought of using a code machine, but these would take too long. Then Philip Johnston solved the problem. He was a civil engineer. Johnston had grown up on a Navajo reservation. He could speak Navajo. That's how he came up with the idea of a Navajo code. The Navajo code talkers were able to pass on messages in minutes. It would have taken the code machine hours to do the same thing. The Navajo language is very complicated. It is spoken orally and never written. The language does not have an alphabet or symbols. It was perfect for a secret code. The code talkers would send messages back and forth. Nobody else could understand these messages. The secret code took Navajo words. Then it connected them to things in the war. For example, the names of different birds were used to stand for different kinds of planes. Over 400 vocabulary terms were created. An alphabet system was also used. The first letter of a Navajo word corresponded to one of the letters in the English language. For example, the Navajo word Wallachi means ant. It stands for the letter A. Code talking goes back to World War I when Choctaw soldiers helped the U.S. Army. However, the Navajo code talkers were more successful. By 1945, about 540 Navajos served as Marines. About 400 of these were code talkers. They made a big difference in the war and helped America. What contribution did the Navajo code talkers make to the American war effort? They used their civil engineering skills to operate machinery. They enlisted the help of Choctaw people to serve as soldiers. They used their native language as a secret code to pass along information, or they used weapons to fight against the enemy. Who was Philip Johnston? We can go back in the text, and then we see that Philip Johnston solved the problem. He was a civil engineer. That's one thing you could say about him. He could speak Navajo, and he came up with the idea to use Navajo code. So any of those are something you could put for who he was. What was the disadvantage to using radios and telephones during the war? Too expensive. They often lost their signal. They were not able to be moved from place to place. Or they gave the enemy an opportunity to listen to important information. How many war-related vocabulary words did the Navajo code talkers develop? Did they make less than 100? Between 250 and 500? Between 750 and 1,000? Or more than 1,000? There's where you would find the answer. Give an example of how Navajo words were connected to things at war. Think about the airplanes and the bird names. That's what I think of when I see that question. It says in the article, you learned that more than 400 Navajo code talkers contributed to the American war effort and made a huge difference for the American side. Based on the information in this article, describe 3 reasons you think it was successful. So you could say 1, it was hard to learn, and then you would give 2 and 3.